Milestones Roundup!
Welcome everybody to our TOME RPG news update for the month of September 2020. For this update, we'll be giving our Quarter 3 progress report for the year. In the past 3 months, we've worked harder than ever before and made a ton of progress. With each passing week, the game is shaping up more and more the way it was envisioned from the start, so let's go over some of the new milestones we've hit. First, our movement and navigation system has been vastly improved. The control of your player character has a much smoother feel to it, and even navigating the menus is significantly cleaner. This has been incredibly helpful when it comes to the next item on our list. We've fully bug-tested Chapter 1 and are now doing preliminary testing for Chapters 2, 3, and 4. The progression from the first moment of gameplay all the way to the end of the first chapter, which encompasses the first 4 to 5 levels of the entire adventure, is totally complete with no showstoppers. The glue that binds the world of TOME together is tighter than ever. This has allowed us to also finally work on some aesthetic elements, including a long-awaited one. We've updated the visual style of our user interface. We've actually been holding on to some fresh new UI graphics for quite a while, but this task was a much lower priority until just recently. So now, we've unified the look of TOME's UI to something much sleeker and more appropriate to the cyberspace meets fantasy world you'll be playing in. Next, we've also incorporated a new feature, Save Points. This is, in fact, a new feature, because we had originally intended to utilize an autosave function, specifically to pour on the pressure of if you would lose during any plot-important events and the story would carry on anyway. This proved to not only be a little more complicated than necessary, but also we foresaw it being too frustrating for players. So instead, we've left the choice of instilling that extra bit of challenge up to the individual instead of forcing it. Moving on, we've overhauled the look and functionality of our title screen, the desktop that the White Hat hacker logs into TOME from over the length of the game's story, and the character creation menu where you build your race, class, elemental alignment, special techniques, and even your username at the very beginning of your adventure. Just as importantly, we've also finished programming the equipment menu, which you can access by interacting with the equipment stalls found scattered around various stages and towns. And in addition, all power-ups and items are functional, and all shops are filled out with selections of what you can purchase. We'll be going more into detail about these last 2 items in our next update for the month of October. Which, speaking of, it's time for the spooky season of Halloween! Our heroes of the Dandy Alliance skipped out the last couple years, but for this, our Year of the Evil Virus 2020, they're back. With so many costume ideas, there's enough to fill the entire month. Trick or treat on over to our official Twitter page, @TOMERPG, for a daily costume drawing of Flame Girl, Nylok, Kerbifer, Alpha, and Gamesoft. And before we wrap up, here's another quarterly wallpaper of the cast of the Terrain of Magical Expertise, ready to open new doors of wonderment and intrigue for the next 1,000 years. Ha! Thanks as always for watching, stay tuned for the next update, and keep on keeping on.
Woo!